this is Hank Denson, aka Joke Dealer, hashtag pay teachers more money. This is Teacher Relief Live version of Teacher Talk. If you don't know anything about me, I'm a Hank Denson comedian. I'm chaperone aquarium trip. Video went viral. Teachers has been my peeps for life. Today, I had the pleasure to bring in a fashionista teacher from New Jersey. Tell them about yourself. Tell me your name, how long you've been teaching, and what you teach.
Hi, good people. My name is Kate Lindsay, and I teach fashion design and merchandising. I've been teaching for about 15, 16 years, and right now I teach at a community college.
Okay, community college. Now, this is good. You're the first of my teacher talks that I've had a college professor. So, awesome thing about it, let me tell you what, I see your faces beat to the gods. Do your thing. I see your swag. Okay.
See, you too much.
Denim, all that. I'm feeling the whole vibe. Okay.
All right.
Why teaching?
Well, I was originally in the fashion industry, and what happened was, I had a baby, and I knew that I couldn't really, be at my best being in the fashion industry. Okay. So I actually worked. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Devil's Wear Prada.
Yes, that's one of my favorite movies.
Well, that came to life with me, and I remember being like 9 months pregnant, and I was big and ugly when I was pregnant. I'm not gonna lie, it's my first one. And somebody said, my boss said, Kay, come here. And I was like, what? And so I'm wobbling my behind into the boardroom, and she goes, can you bring me a Mountain Dew? And that was when I said, oh, this is not for me. Right. It's not Mountain Dew. I'm like, I'm Mountain Don't. I won't do that. So then I decided that I wanted to actually teach what it is that I learned in college and was in the industry. Okay. And so I actually fell into teaching. I first was teaching high school at a vocational school, and now I teach community college.
Oh, okay. So, but it was a move to the right thing. I think that steps were kind of guided. I would say, let me ask you this: what was your first day like? Like when you first started?
I hated it.
You hated
it?
Period. Why?
I hated it. I was just like, okay, so I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be 100, with you, because I'm just gonna do that. First of all, I came from the industry, and then I had to teach high school, and like they were asking me things like, can I go to the bathroom? Pledge of Allegiance. We have to stand. Like, can I have a pass? And I'm like, just do whatever you want to do. So I was tripping like, I do not like this. I don't like the way I feel.
Guide your life, dog.
Right. I was just trying to teach you like some scenes and some colors and stuff. Right. Where is this going? And then it wasn't until like about lunchtime when they were like, oh, she's the new fashion teacher. And they were coming to ask me questions. And I was like, that was like, I call these moments the milkshake moments, where you know how you get a milkshake from Burger King and you try to, sip on it and the vein in your forehead start popping out, and right? You just want it because it's hot outside and you get this, and then all of a sudden, throughout the day, it just started to warm up to me, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Like, I guess I'll try it. And I came home, I was like, I'm not feeling them kids. Like I'm not. No, but then it started to really, warm up after a while. That's how I stayed there.
Man, that's awesome. Because I think everybody, I get a lot of the stories, and I make this face when everybody's like, oh, I was born to teach. And I'll be like, I'm like, these kids try you.
Right. And the thing about it is that when you teach at like a vocational school, because of what it used to be rather than what it is now, like now it's like school of choices where they actually have to like, be on a waiting list and all this, where back in the day, vocational schools, you were cutting up in high school, and my husband's a teacher too. So you want to get his side. Back in the day, you would bring them because you're like, you're not acting right. But now it's different. Like they had to actually try to be in my class, like a waiting list.
Really? So let me ask you this: what's the culture like? And I was. So you've been teaching? You said 16 years. How many years? How long you been teaching?
Right. Yeah, about 16. About 16 total.
So let me ask you this: what's the from then beginning, because I know it's changed from beginning to now, and I mean like not COVID, but I'm talking about now. What has changed where you're just like, I don't know, or you're like, about time?
Well, I don't know would probably be the technology. When I first started teaching, it was like, oh, you can't be on your phones. We're going to take your phones away. And, and they weren't really, not they, I say they, which means that educators and education, we wasn't feeling that. We were like, you can't be in your classroom with your cell phones. Like, what's going on? And then we realized like it really can benefit these kids, these students, these young people, if they kind of infuse technology appropriately in the classroom.
I think that's
also the fluency. I'm in fashion design.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was nothing to get people in their fluid lifestyles, like fluid students, but it wasn't until like recently where it's like, when it comes to fashion, it didn't matter what gender you were because it was extremely fluid, where
Right.
now it's like everybody is now doing what fashion has always done. Where meaning like, we were seamless when it came to that.
Right.
We were more acceptance and more liberated in those areas where in the beginning it was like, oh no, how am I going to deal with that type of student? And how am I going to deal with that type of student? Where people in the arts, that's how we've always, whether you're music, production, movies, acting, we've always dealt with the fluency of our students. So
that's good to hear because you're in New York. So how does that balance work for you? It's like family, because you got husband, kids. How is that balance? Because I know now me homeschooling, and I'm walking around here trying to do daddy, all this stuff. And I'm like, and I got one kid. So how is it the balance for you?
Well, I think the balance for us, and my husband's an educator too, it goes well because we understand, and I teach fashion, so I always use like these things. We understand the fibers of teachers. We understand that, what it takes to kind of go into remote mode. And I'm going to be honest, the pandemic, I think educators at the end of the day, we were the ones that, it wasn't the government, it was us that basically said, no, our kids deserve education.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to work this thing backwards where we're going to have to really partner, like what we've been advocating for so many years with the parents, where we wanted to partner. Now it was reversed. Now it's like, wait a minute, if you don't sound like as a parent, you're like, you better stop, I'm gonna call Mrs. Lindsay. Now we're calling the teachers, talk about, who's this kid, and now it's reversed, which means that it brings people into a more united, front, and that we're on the same page now. Now we have kind of a different respect for one another, and me and my husband being an educator, so we're parents. But we're educators. And now we're like, encouraging the teachers and saying, listen, we got you. We understand the Google Classroom. We're trying to work with each other. But that's because we're educators. I can't even imagine someone like you who you're like, now do what? What are you talking about?
Right.
So,
and I didn't know a little bit of the jargon. You know what I mean? If I didn't leave a little bit of the verbiage when the stuff was coming in, I would have been like, well, how you going to figure this out?
Right.
But the be in the 7th grade again, because I'm not
right. But the reality is that it starts to hit home when you're like, wait a minute. So if you don't do this work, this means you're gonna have to repeat this grade, and then that means that everybody begins to say, what you write. Like it's gonna take all hands on deck. Yeah. Every hand needs to be on deck, and but I know that as an educator, I felt sad because it hit me like not only the seniors are not going to experience senior year the way that they deserve, but then I started to think about, but what happens to the babies who can't eat and that's their only meal? I started thinking about, people that are in the arts, they don't get to do their last fashion show in our case, or some people compete and they don't get to compete, like DECA, FCCLA, Skills USA for scholarships. Like all of that's
Shuts
gone.
down so much. People don't understand it because I'm part of DECA, and my thing is what was made me sad. And I had a moment with one of the teachers is the kids special needs kids, special needs. They don't have that voice, and maybe the only person that's giving them that may understand them is somebody that's at the school. And
absolutely.
And that whole day, and you know what I mean? And they, you know, I know for a fact you only spend about a certain amount of time with your kids at home because of foods, homework, then bed. But just imagine the special need kids that's waking up in the morning and their routine has been this. And then a parent there that's stressed, no food, just economically challenged through all this. That changes, and the teachers at home knowing this. Like that the system is failing that child at home, or adoption, or not I'm saying adoption, but what's it called, group homes. It's just all that stuff hit me, and I was just like, one, I thought about my blessings and how blessed I am to be this type of father, and how a blessing it is to have teachers that actually really care. Because there was an option that some teachers got that they didn't have to do any assignments. They were just like, just try to keep up with the kids and check on them when you can, but we're not acclimating you is to do assignments for the kids. And this is in some states. And I'm like, what? And they're like, nah, we didn't have to make any assignments for the kids. But some teachers are like, I'm doing it anyways because these kids need it, you know. And I want to thank you for that part, because I've been talking to you, and man, it's like I know how you're instrumental in making sure that you get everything on your end up and moving so the kids get that instruction. And that's hard because you have your family and your worries in your own house. So my hat off to you for that. All that is just dope. Let me ask you this real quick. You tell me, and I don't want to be too serious, tell me about Fashion Week and all that goes on in your education. Because I like when you said, you were like, I'll be in Fashion Week, and I got excited, like, what? So tell me about it.
Okay, so I want to go back to what you were saying before Fashion Week, is that, you know, in education, there's educators and there's teachers. And the teachers, you know, I give my hats off of teachers, and we do what it is that we need to do. But educators, we go beyond. And that's what you're defining right now, is an educator movement, where we're educating everyone holistically around, and we really care about that. So educator relief, teacher relief, I'm all for it. All right, so Fashion Week, my life can get crazy, okay?
I'm jealous though, because you make it sound like it's like you make it sound like I'm talking, but I'll be like, what? Like, wait a minute. Like, because I've been in New York, and I got got my wife some little Tory Burch stuff out of a little open, you know, they had the little off-season stuff, little Gucci belt. But I'm in the back, I'm like standing back like, I can't afford none of this other stuff, but I'm happy to be here. So
well, the Fashion Week is, I used to teach high school, and when I first started teaching high school, I was like real hardcore. Like I used to be like, you know, like I was on Project Runway for real. I had kids crying. Like I would say, you're either in or out. Like then the principal was like, whoa, you gotta calm down. Because I was like really too serious. But when you come to college, it really is in or out. Like you really have no, there's no dress rehearsals. You just got to do the daggone thing. So I've been to Fashion Week several times, participating and working behind the scenes. And the thing about it with Fashion Week is that, you know, they kind of like throw you in and literally throw you in. Like some fashion shows, we're not allowed to post on social media until they publish their pictures, or we'll be sued. Like to the point where like take your cameras, take your phones, like none of that, or you have to sign a press release or a legal form that says you cannot, right?
Wow.
And then some people would say, oh yeah, no doubt, like that's what we want you to do. And sometimes we went to one fashion show where by the time we got there, and I went like, because my name is the fashion professor, we came like on deck, like we had sewing machines, sergers, steamers, you name it, we had it. Like we had to literally set up shop there because we did not know what we were going to experience. And for sure enough, we was there and we were finishing garments, making sure it was show ready to go on the floor. Like you just don't know. So the thing about it is that when you experience Fashion Week or any Fashion Week, it doesn't have to be New York, it could be Philly, DC, whatever, Atlanta, whatever, hair shows, you have no idea the type of energy that you're about to hit. And you have to train. Now, listen, I'm the fashion professor, so everybody who walks behind me, they expect that expectation. So now I'm managing having to please designers, fashion show production people, and have my students be show ready, like at all times. That means that be professional. That means that you gotta look your role. You gotta look polished, because in fashion there is no dress rehearsals. I don't care what it is. People look at you for the first time and they're like, okay, you're on it, or they just settle judgment on the way you look. I mean, the way you are by what you look like. So we've been crazy situations, crazy.
So let me ask this: if somebody was gonna say anything about you, if they were gonna be like, yo, the fashion professor is, in one word, what would they say?
I guess motivating, or one word, well, a couple words. I get it done. I get it done.
Dude, like you got me. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, fashion professor. You got me when you was running that. I was giving like, maybe I need to go change.
And the thing about it is that I'm not fashion like elite. Like I'm not spitting like designers left and right. I just believe that if I don't know it, I'll find somebody who does know it. And I'm amazed even at the fashion community and how we're banding together to make masks and to do like crazy things. Like it's crazy. Like,
do you have any masks there with you? Like,
do I have any? I don't have any up here. I don't have any. I'm prepared, but I don't have them. But the fashion community, the sewing community, and the teaching community, all that I'm a part of, it's just amazing how we just stopped and said, wait a minute. Even Louis Vuitton was like, wait a minute. Let's start making hand sanitizer. Like people are really repping. And that makes me proud. That makes me extremely proud to be a part of the educators and also a part of fashion.
How do you feel? Has anybody in your group been affected by COVID? Like, because you're close to ground zero, like all at New York. So how?
Yeah, well, New Jersey is second to New York.
Yeah.
And so, definitely students that are been affected. And staff members, family members, church members, you name it. Everyone has been affected some way, somehow. You don't even want to go on the internet, or you don't want to pull up your school email because you have that level of anxiety. Like this is not cool. So what I say is, every day you wake up is a blessing. I tell my students that all the time. And whether they believe in my higher power or whatever, I'm like, well, somebody leading this shit. So whatever you do,
who you believe in.
You believe when you wake up.
Right.
Okay. I had one person and she was like, well, I don't believe in what you believe in. And I said, look, let me say, are you breathing? Okay, that's all I do. Okay, keep it moving.
I'm like, hey, you believe water's wet, don't you?
Right. Hello.
Where it come from? Oh, my God said it's wet.
right. That's it. Yeah.
Let me. How is it to have a teacher husband? Like, how does that work?
Oh my gosh, this could be a whole nother episode because no, this could really be another whole episode.
Y'all are actually a reality TV show. I just want to say that.
You have a nerve. But the reality is that both my husband and I, we actually worked at the same place. This is a whole nother episode. Worked at the same place, same school, and I actually got hired with the high school he graduated from. The person who hired me was his principal. Whole nother episode. So we were actually working not in the same building, but it was Mr. and Mrs. Lindsay, and we were at the same exact school except two different locations. And we did not meet there. We was well married when we got there. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what if people not, okay, if someone's going to ask you, and I have every teacher answer this question, what do people not understand about teachers that they need to know out of in your own words? Number one,
we never turn off. It's never a dull moment in our life. We never turn off. People say, oh, leave your work at home. Leave your work at work and not bring home. We don't do that. Constantly thinking about it's a part of our of our fibers of our body. We don't stop. It just keep on going.
Every time I talk to you, like, I'm like, you know what? So let me ask you, congratulations on all the things you're doing, your YouTube, all this. Okay, so do me this favor. Give me 5 of your favorite designers.
Definitely classic, Coco Chanel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness, there's so many. Christian Dior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, in my mind, I'm like, who right now? Oh.
That's why I don't tell people this one, because they be planning, and I'm like, nah. Mm-mm.
No, I can't even name them because there's so many different ones. But I like classic designers because I believe that a lot of people.
You gotta give me 3 more. Come on.
I'm sorry. Definitely, Louis Vuitton. I like classic. I like Celine.
Okay.
And give me another one. Oof. And I like, as spunky and old school as this chick is, I like Bessie Johnson. She just brings it.
Okay. Look, okay. I know fashion. I don't know how I know so much, but I got people who are editors and writers for different magazines at a family, so it's dope. And me and my son went to the Off-White exhibit, so we messed with Virgil.
Yeah.
I love your energy. You are a blessing to any child that comes into your classroom because your energy is amazing. And I think the world is understanding what teachers do, or at least they never gonna forget this energy. They're never gonna forget that their kids were at home and they had to teach them, and the teachers were one there that kind of kept everything flowing in their house, from food to energy to therapy to everything they needed. And they never really thought how much a teacher does until this hit. And it's sad that we had to get a pandemic that comes and kills people for us to understand how important teachers are. I'm not going to keep you, but let's do this. Tell them where they can find you.
All right, here we go. I go live with my YouTube channel, Kate Lindsay, the Fashion Professor. We start in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. I go live. Instagram, Kate Lindsay, the Fashion Professor. That's where you can find me.
Thank you so much.
No
Kate
problem.
Lindsay, Fashion Professor. Yo, I appreciate your time. I mean, like, I don't feel prepared because you came in, I'm like a face hat. Like, I'm in the way. Let me get out of your way. This is Hank Denson for Teacher Talk. I'm Teacher Relief Live. This is the Fashion Professor, Kate Lindsay. I appreciate your time. Y'all have a good night. All right?
Peace out.